Hey y'all, it's Miranda. Welcome back and welcome to my new setup. I've decided to move out of Dallas, Texas in general, and come back to Arkansas. So I've got all new things going on, all new changes. I am so excited because it is September. We are getting closer and closer to the holidays and the end of the year. So I'm excited to show the next 5 spotlight artists that I want to share for the month. And I really just want to show some variety this month because I know as soon as we get into October, November, and December, and so on, I'm going to get really specific about my aesthetics and the type of artists that I'm going to choose for each month. So this month I really just want to enjoy a variety and a really nice collection of artists that really inspire me like all these artists do, but definitely because of the different variables I really want to talk about and kind of blend them together in some way. So to start off this month, I really wanted to go with an artist that we've already talked about before, that has inspired other artists that have inspired me. And this particular artist, of course, being Gustav Klimt, an Austrian symbolist painter. He's known, of course, for his paintings, his sketches, his mural work. He was a part of the Vienna session, of course, being from Vienna himself in Austria. It's really, really impactful to see his mural work during that time. The architecture alone was so stunning. But getting to see his different mural sets and such within those architectural buildings is really, really special. He was definitely ahead of his time. He kind of challenged a lot of the norms and the restrictions that a lot of different critics put on him. He really wanted to have that artistic freedom, especially from the time that he was in. It was so impactful and important, and he was definitely ahead of his time, the fact that he was making such a stand to what it means to have artistic freedom. But something that I really, really love to see and get to know even more and go in depth on was his landscape paintings. Because I've also done a lot of figure drawing, portraiture, subject matter, I really want to concentrate on that landscape idea and what it means to be a landscape artist and how I can portray landscapes in paintings. So it was really special to see his different pattern work and his abstractions to his landscapes, but also just the classic remnants of what it is to be a master artist of landscape painting. When I see his work, the one thing that I can feel is liberation. The one thing I can feel is no restraint and just complete freedom to express what it is you see, how you feel, what it is you experience, and how you really want to represent your art and how you really want to just showcase who you are and who others are and kind of the experiences you go through every day. And I think it's really special to see an artist and get to know him like this and kind of understand that he knows every element to realism, to abstraction, and knows how to blend those two things together as well. Definitely a really inspirational artist in terms of just abstraction and artistic freedom and artistic vision, really. Now this next particular artist is definitely a really unique and different artist that I have done so far, because this particular artist concentrates definitely more towards photography and collage work, and particularly definitely has a passion for the photography outlook on artistic vision, and that is really inspiring to me because I've never really delved into photography or what it means to be an artist who does photographs and does collage work in terms of photographs. And this particular artist, of course, being Lorna Simpson. She's been a prominent artist since the 80s up until now. I love to see the ideas that she expresses in her conceptual photography. It's really something that I can relate to in some way, in a way that really connects me to what it would be like to be a conceptual artist within photography, really. Her collage work is probably the most inspiring thing for me to see because it's very reminiscent of a lot of modern day collage work that concentrates on combining different mediums into one. And I feel like a lot of times we feel really restrained as artists. We're always told that we're supposed to keep mediums within mediums, acrylics with acrylics, oils with oils, so on and so on. But I love to see artists that really challenge that and take each different thing. She is definitely one of those hallmark artists for me to look up to in terms of what it means to try and understand what photography really means and try to understand how photography affects people, how it affects culture, how it affects political ideas, political meanings, political statements really. And really just showcasing the beauty of her hair, the beauty of her culture, her really embracing that and embracing it for others. All of the aspects to her work can really be inspiring for artists today. Her work will always translate and carry on through each generation. And overall, she's just a really impactful artist in terms of self-beauty, self-understanding, and self-expression, and really showcasing that in photography. She definitely just has a way of capturing herself, capturing others, capturing a culture, capturing a moment, and a beauty really. Now, speaking of inspiration and someone who really has a lot of artists and others who look up to her, she's an American writer, a painter, a mixed media artist, a quilter, multiple different things. And this particularly special and inspirational artist, of course, being Faith Ringgold. She is an American painter, like I said, who has concentrated mostly on the quilts that she's created with the paintings on top of that. Something, again, kind of relating back to that mixed media idea and collage work of combining different mediums. Her work looks so bright colored and beautiful on the first glance, but when you really look into some of her pieces, I mean, even when you first see some of them, they're so strikingly specific to a scene or a moment, a political message, a very strong political message, may it be. When I was reading about her, the way that they described it was that she had very remarkable, strong beliefs, but a lot of this, of course, was not just something that she believed in, but something that was actually happening. Rather than the word belief, a complete outlook on what it was that she was experiencing, what others were experiencing, and what she really wanted to portray in her work. In the most complimentary way, her work is very prideful and beautiful and remarkable, like I said. And I know that her work is going to trigger a lot of different emotions and different ideas from others and even their own beliefs, but overall I think it's very important, no matter what, to always remember an artist like this. She created such a foundation for mixed media, multimedia ideals of expressing yourself through art in terms of what we're going through as a country, what we're going through in our cultures, what we're going through as ourselves and with each other. And along with that, having multiple great techniques of how to combine different art forms and make something really, really amazing and unique and remarkable. On to something that's a little bit different in subject matter, something that goes into its own particular ideals of culture, particularly pop culture, is an artist who has a very amazing, unforgettable, undeniable aesthetic. And this particular American painter, of course, being Mark Ryden. I always see him pop up on my social medias. I always see him pop up on advertisements. And even whenever I'm just kind of concentrating on different pop culture icons that I really like, they always seem to reference him or have like kind of collaborated with him in one way or another. And I find that to be so special that he's kind of outreached into all of these different aspects of pop culture and our culture in general. And I think a lot of that has to do with just his pure pastel, beautiful, otherworldly, mystical aesthetics that he has in his paintings. His personality definitely showcases in every one of his pieces. No matter what, I feel like if I were to see one of his obscure, whatever different type of art I might see around the world, I would always know that it's his right away, because his work has an undeniable personality to it, an undeniable specific style just to him. And like I've always said, I find that to be the most impactful and amazing thing about an artist is when you know right away when you see their work that that's their work. When I see his work and when I was doing my research on him again, he definitely gives me a sense of mystery. Everything that he accomplishes in terms of the textures, the softness, the colors, the perspectives, the creativity, the characters, the creatures, the different types of personalities that you see within his paintings. He has such an old master style, which is also so inspiring and great to have in the modern day pop culture, that we can still appreciate and understand and accomplish the old master ways. I just have such a love for these artists who have this special outlook on their own personalities and their own way of creating their art. And Mark Ryden is definitely one of those top artists in that regard, for sure. I wanted to save this artist for last because her story, like many others, have really affected me in a way, but in particularly after watching the movie, the film that they made based off of her story, and her voice and her skill set and her vision being taken away from her and her having to find that again. And this particular artist, of course, being the American painter Margaret Keane. She is such a special lady indeed, such a special artist indeed. Similar to Mark Ryden in a very, very unique way, they have such an aesthetic to their work that whenever you see it, it's undeniably recognized as her work. It's such a specific, personalized look and aesthetic to who she is and what she does as an artist, and the aesthetic that she really resides with. And I know that she found a lot of her popularity through commercial success, very similar to how I feel about even selling my own artwork on Redbubble. Having different, fun but kind of silly products that you can display your art on and kind of sell within bulk. Whenever I see her art, it reminds me so much of my niece. It reminds me so much of just the preciousness and innocence of children. Her work really showcases to me and translates just how pure the world can be, how beautiful and kind and just precious the world can be. And overall, she's just a really amazing, impactful artist in terms of overcoming things, finding her own voice, and she really is just an artist that is so cutely iconic. Alrighty, well that's it. I am so happy to have this out. Happy September. Please get to know these artists like I always say, and to try and understand them in their own regards and in regards to each other. It's just so unique and so motivating, really inspiring. I hope y'all enjoyed this new setup. I promise I'll keep evolving it and keep changing it to try and make it better and better each time. Thank you for watching and happy almost fall. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Okay. Do y'all want to see what I have to sit on? How I have to have this all set up for this to work? Come look at this. I have to set up like 6 pillows just for this to work. Like what the? That's ridiculous. But I'm just super tiny and that's just what it takes to make it work.